Good evening, Guam. I'm Jess Lujan. Welcome to this edition of The Buzz. I got two distinguished gentlemen for two housing entities here in Guam, and I'm privileged to have both these gentlemen here. Of course, the executive director for GURA, Mike Duenas. How you doing, Mike?
Great. Good evening, Jess.
And the president for Guam Housing Corporation, Martin Benavente, former mayor, everything former. But anyway,
nice to be here.
It's great to have you guys. Gentlemen, let me cut to the chase for this. The reason why I asked you this here is basically we had been in communications over the past months regarding housing issues, and of course, every time we see you guys, you're either cutting ribbons or groundbreaking for new housing development. A lot of people have been actually been helped with in regards to programs that you guys have had initiated. However, I think it was last week that reports came out by Nick Captain regarding refuting, I guess, basically telling you guys to, hey, put the brakes on because we're going to be looking at a housing crisis here, you know, and so you got to slow down. And I'm saying to myself, I'm saying, wait a minute, and this is my opinion, okay, not your gentleman's opinion, my opinion. The captain is not an expert. As a matter of fact, a good example of this is the courts during the Dan valuation. He had to keep coming back with different formulas. And even the court did not recognize his expertise of that. So, and then citing that, some of the programs that you guys have been implementing, most especially with GURA, and kind of comparing American Samoa situation and Guam, population definitely half the population of Guam. What he doesn't put in the studies is that a big component of a situation in American Samoa is the fact that one of two big canneries, tuna canneries, have closed down. And not only that, federal government came and imposed the minimum wage situation, kind of like what they did in the CNMI. It cost a lot of jobs. Now, Mike, Martin, affordable housing, you know that folks that come to you for affordable housing have jobs but not necessarily qualify, again, for $250,000, $300,000 homes. They have some sort of income, but not quite meeting the conservative mark that most, if not all, our banks here in Guam have to adhere to. And so here we go. We have these programs. Again, Nick Captain is not a uninterested party. Maybe years back he was. Nick Captain is an investor. Your programs for affordable homes would definitely, now Nick may own some apartments and condominiums, which means you will, again, hurt maybe his profit margin. Likewise, if homes are continue to be in the $400,000 to $400,000 range, if those prices come down, because he's a real estate broker as well, hey, commissions are not going to be that high. So in response to that, I don't think he's an expert. My opinion, he's not a disinterested party. He's got a conflict of interest bordering, if not unethical, to come out with this and telling you guys you can't house the poor people. Mike, please.
I'll leave it to you and your viewers to determine Mr. Captain's expertise. What we're looking at, basically, from our point of view, and why the governor, when he came out and said we need to build 3,000 homes, was precisely to head off a housing crisis, a housing crisis for the lower income families. When we commissioned that study that was completed in 2009, it had a twofold purpose. One was to assess the current housing market conditions, and to also then forecast, based on some of the projections that were coming out of the discussions in the military buildup, what the demand was going to look like. But that study also looked at
the natural growth.
Natural growth, demand as a result of the natural growth. In the 3,000 houses that the governor established as his goal to build another 3,000 homes over the next 7 years, took all those things into account. Most importantly, the government programs that we run, that Martin runs, are aimed towards helping provide housing for low-income families, moderate and low-income families. For example, with GURA, we have We provide assistance to 3,100 families through our Section 8 and public housing programs. That's 10,000 people. Okay. In our wait list now, we have a wait list of about 4,600 families. That's 16,000 individuals who are looking for housing assistance.
And that's based on natural growth.
And we don't have the resources for it. So if you look at the low-income housing tax credit, that basically is intended to build affordable rental units. These are rental units that can be operated without any other subsidies from the government other than the tax credits.
Sure, tax rate, yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to do with the government programs, and that is to encourage developers to build for the low-income market, both for rental and for affordable home ownership.
I also want to show you that, you know, our efforts in the government side is not just a fly-by-night effort.
Sure.
We want to let you know that it's a calculated effort. When this administration came into office, the governor put us together and created the Affordable Housing Council. I currently chair that council now, but what it does is it partners people like the GURA with Guam Housing, Public Works, EPA, and many other agencies that are involved in land and building and everything, you know,
and
the
planning.
permits, and planning. And he told us, you know, to get going with trying to plan to build this many homes. But you know, I said earlier that the number 3,000 is a fluid number. It's not something we're locked into. In fact, we might even need to expand depending on what comes up in the next few years. The China visa waiver, the buildup, the military buildup. But Mike alluded to a study in 2009, and even that study back then, 61% of the people that were surveyed still showed that they are the people that needed the homes are the low-income people.
And when we come back, because we got to take a break, we'll talk about what made the headlines today in regards to the spike in tourism numbers and where that make up with that. We got hotels that are being renovated. We got a hotel here that's going up. Workers, okay? Mostly minimum wage earners, your clients.
Yes.
Be right back.
This program is brought